Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Code Dizzle. I just wanted to make a follow-up video on the last one I made. I kind of left it at, hey, maybe I'll join some groups and give a follow-up. Well, here we are. So if you haven't watched my first video, you might want to go back and watch that one because this is going to have no context or meaning. But yeah, if you can believe it, it gets crazier. So if you enjoyed the first one, you'll enjoy this one. I think only about 5 people probably watched my last video, but I don't care. It's for me, and you know, I just find it so interesting. And again, I have to document it, or else my phone's just going to be filled with the rantings of crazy people with no real meaning. I have to document it. I have to keep it organized. So again, I can't believe this all started with the comment section of a video on a guy in a lawn chair with balloons taking up to the sky. Like, I can't believe that's how this all started. But recently, I went on a short trip, and as I was in my Uber on my way to the airport, and as I was getting on the plane, I was like, well, I mean, it's been a couple weeks. Let me check in on our old crazy people. And I found the guy that I originally started with last time and just started there again. And that's, again, where this all starts. So, yeah, I found the guy again. I clicked on, his profile, and this is one of the first things that popped up. I tried to order some copper stuff off Amazon, and all of a sudden my card is not working. Whatever I'm being blasted with is depleting me physically, mentally, and spiritually. So, I want to also show you, this guy doesn't just post like crazy stuff. Like, here's one of him making a smoothie or a shake after cardio and shoulders. So he works out, I guess. And then, made myself a steak sandwich. So he does sometimes post normal stuff, but then he also, posts this wackadoo stuff. So he posted a forward from this guy, Darian Coulon. I never really believed the police was in on my harassment. I did see them follow me, but I thought it was a coincidence, which I love how he spells that. But today I woke up in a 24-hour fitness parking lot, and I could hear a couple guys laughing as they throw rocks at my truck. When I got up to see 2 cops to my left laughing, it's wild, and I see why some people have a hard time believing it, but it is true. Don't call them. It's a waste of time. So this guy apparently woke up in a 24-hour fitness parking lot and was getting rocks thrown at his truck from the cops, I guess. I don't know. I find that hard to believe. But underneath that, this Nathan guy pops up again. Recently moved to a new apartment in July. The neighbor who lives above stomps and bangs all day. I know this is one of their tactics. They were doing it where I previously lived. Is there anyone that has been through this and handled it through the court and got them to stop? So I clicked on, there's these comments, like one guy, this Darian guy has like 52 comments. This other, Nathan has 10 comments. So I clicked on the comments to see who's commenting on here. And this Leo Zaniga guy, that's what was happening to me last year. I moved in June to some new apartments that were being built a few towns away from me. I thought it was going to be far enough to get away from the stalking BS. But at the new apartment, there was one other tenant living there when we started moving in. They kept to themselves. It was a gay couple, but then in the next month or so, people started moving in little by little. When we noticed the family, quotes, that moved in after us just so happened to move into the one above us, not the empty ones next to us. Both apartment on each side, left and right, were empty. The kids of that family would run in their apartment all night and day. When their new neighbors moved in, the couple on the left side would invite people over and would park in our space all the time, and when they would walk their dog, they would throw their ball to my car. The ones on the right were an Asian couple with one little boy that would also invite people over. And, so like, this just sounds like apartment living. Like, you're dealing with people with kids running all over. Like, oh yeah, you're in a new apartment complex, and all of a sudden people start showing up, and they're targeting me because the spaces around me are filling up with families and people. Like, what? So here he keeps going on. And a lot of times these people rant for like pages and pages. They have so much to say. I don't know if it is to add validity to what they're saying, but like,
they just keep going. Like, this guy's talking about they would keep parking in our space. One time the agents followed us to the beach and surrounded me and my mom in about 6 or 7 different SUVs, and they were all talking in their language and laughing. The beach has to be at least 30 or 40 miles long. What a coincidence. Well, at least they spelled that right. How they parked on both sides of me, so I put everything in our car and moved down the beach before they started to act even more retarded. When we got back home that night, their other Asian friend was standing outside upstairs holding his phone like he was taking a picture, pointing it right at us. And then the ones that surrounded us at the beach got there at the same time. Oh, and who the fuck wears loafers at the beach? A stupid, weird-ass gang stalker will. We ended up moving in October because fuck that. They kept up with their retarded bullshit every day. I had to find a place with a garage so I can sleep with peace of mind. The original apartments that I lived at, there was no fence. Anyone could drive through. So, yeah, they just, like, again, you're apartment living and complaining about, the people that are moving in around you. And I don't know, like, it just is insane. So yeah, he keeps going on about how, let's see here. They would do even worse because I lived alone at home. People are sick in their fucking mind and soul and feel it's okay to be stalking and hating on someone for some money or gift cards. Speaking of gift cards, the conclusion of this video is pretty funny. There's something about gift cards in there. It's fucking bizarre, man. Stay safe, and I hope you find some better place to move. Stay safe out there. Those people have serious mental problems. So the person suggests putting on gospel music, drown them out. That's how it started for me, all day and night in my apartment, and then it just never ended. No courts and police are in on it. At least that's my situation. So, yeah, definitely delusions of paranoia. So I kept going on like, okay, what else does this guy have to say, right? So underneath the comments of this, at least that's my situation. This Nathan guy, chimes back in, we will see, ordering them to court. I also have proof, so let's see what happens. Going to try to be positive, pray, and have faith. Please update us on your situation. I want to take mine to court, but I don't know where to start. Hopefully you're a real TI. I sent you a bit of the outcome today in a PM. So I'm curious, like, what actually taking these people to court would really do, how that even happens. But so another thing, this Leo Zuniga guy was because it just was, his page was full of crazy stuff, was this change.org petition, which was the Voiceless Justice Act. So this is the Pass the Voiceless Justice Act and Frankie Initiative petition. 2,293 people already signed it. And so the issue is, have you ever been a victim of narcissistic abuse or know someone who has? We need your voice. Everyday victims of psychological abuse are silenced by the system and that doesn't see them. They are gaslit, manipulated, isolated, and too often driven to suicide. These are not relationship problems. These are human right violations. They are psychological homicides, and the time has come to name them as such. The Voiceless Justice Act and Frankie Initiative, which is the Federal Registry for Abusers of Narcissistic Knowledge, Identity, and Exploitation. I mean, that is just a mouthful right there. So, again, this goes on for quite a ways, but I just find it just so interesting that, a lot of these things, it's like a narcissist are serial killers without physical weapons. They are targeting these people and driving them to suicide, and it's just kind of, I don't know, fascinating, but also crazy to me that this exists. So they're demanding that the Voiceless Justice Act to be passed to legally recognize narcissistic abuse and coercive psychological control as forms of domestic violence and criminal assault. Investigate suicides caused by narcissistic abuse and psychological murder or manslaughter. This is just, they're wanting to create, I guess, some form of accountability for these gang stalkers, or try to, I guess, hunt them down. So then, yeah, there's all these, I mean, you could read this for yourself. I'm not going to read all this, but it was just kind of crazy that, you know, that there's this whole petition that can be signed. So here's like, the purpose is to expose, criminalize, and prevent narcissistic abuse in all forms. And so, yeah, there's definitions and all that. Again, I'm not going to go into it too much, but anyways, also this guy posted this dude here. So liberal arrested for threatening federal agents and ICE officials, claiming he is going to shoot them all while acquiring armor-piercing ammunition and body armor. And he's like, anyone else thinks maybe this is a TI that had enough? So it's like, okay, that's an opinion, I guess. Here's a lady's post that I thought was interesting. It is amazing how a town tries to bring down a single older disabled woman who hasn't left her property in years. They've turned off my water, manipulated a brand new 10K oil burner so I have no heat, hot water, mess with every delivery I receive, and continually circle my home. And here I stand of sound mind, paying my bills, cooking my meals, and now boiling water for baths until I can find someone willing to fix heater, minding my own business, just trying to survive. Do better, humanity. And yeah, under the comments there. So yeah, I click on, she has comments. So I was like, okay, what are people saying about this? And it was absolutely terrible. No one should get away with doing this to you. Get a lawyer. So yeah, and then so if I live closer, I'd be on the phone advocating for you. This person posts, I feel you, Karen. They ruined my water just prior to moving back this late March. So I have to buy bottled water, and it's usually laced, so not drinkable, and makes me sick. So the water he's buying bottled is laced. I believe we will expose. Yeah. So you keep fighting. So then there's this Targeted Justice Inc. people, right? That I had to click on this link. So when I clicked on this link, it says Targeted Justice sounds alarms on DHS funded gang stalking programs, an explosive letter to a secretary. And, that this just kind of talks about what is targeted justice. And it's a, civil liberties organization representing victims of unlawful surveillance and harassment. And they fired off a letter to the Department of Homeland Security. Everything's fired off. And, so like, oh, they're really taking it to them. But really, they just probably wrote a ranting letter, probably pages and pages of crazy nonsense. But yeah, they're accusing the DHS of orchestrating a sprawling network of surveillance, harassment, and psychological operations through fusion centers targeting innocent Americans under the guise of counterterrorism. So yeah, the letter claims DHS is bankrolling a shadowy campaign against over 300,000 Americans wrongfully placed on the FBI's terrorist screening database. And then, yeah, I just thought it was interesting that these people are actually, again, trying to get some movement somewhere. And, we don't really, I guess, hear about it in the news. But here's this next guy that I just thought was hilarious. So I had to include this. But if medicine worked, you wouldn't need to refill your prescription. I don't think he knows how medicine actually works. But, I mean, okay, I guess. So again, upon reviewing my last video, I realized there was like a brief part in it where I was talking about, they had mentioned Havana syndrome. And when I shared that video to one of my buddies, he was like, oh, dude, like that was actually a thing. Like, there's actually some news articles on it, like a guy getting arrested for it and whatnot. So I had to click on, I Googled like, what is Havana syndrome? And so what I found was actually kind of interesting. So Havana syndrome, also known as anomalous health incidence, is a disputed medical condition. Started in 2016 in about a dozen overseas locations, U.S. and Canadian government officials and their families reported symptoms associated with perceived localized loud sound. Havana syndrome, by official U.S. sources. However, an investigative report in 2024 linked a unit of the Russian military intelligence to the syndrome. And a 2020 incident involved a speeding Mustang in Florida driven by Russian engineer Vitaly Kovalev, who possessed information and a device linked to the military. While Kovalev was arrested for the traffic offense, and later returned to Russia. The investigation suggests a connection between his technical background and possible involvement with a Russian military intelligence unit tied to the Havana syndrome. So, he was pulled over, and his car contained notes on bank accounts and devices to erase computer data. Now, it doesn't necessarily say, hey, we found this guy that was blasting politicians with radio waves or whatever, or frequencies, but I guess that is, one of the conspiracies is that this Russian intelligence guy was involved with this, and this Havana syndrome. So anyways, so that just was a side note I thought was interesting, was that there is at least some documented case of this going down. So I go back to the Gang Stalking group, and I scroll down a bit. And, oh, by the way, in my first video, I also said how it was weird that all these people were like digital creators or something, but that's actually like the default thing Facebook gives people. So like, I think I'm even a digital creator on Facebook. It's just something that it's generated. So I'm just an idiot. That isn't actually a part of this whole conspiracy. But so yeah, I find the Sean Cochran guy, and he says they're blocking on my all my posts, but I'll try anyways. They have computer technology everywhere, embedded into everything. So this guy had some comments, and I was like, all right, what is he, talking about? And so in the comments of this is where I found this gold mine. So there's like this guy, Micho Saniac. There's like an infighting within this group, right? So this is where paranoia gets ramped up to like 11. This guy, he's accusing this other person of being on all these alt accounts. Now, there's like pages and pages of this guy's rant, but so I'll try my best not to read it all out of, sure, but you got to hear what he's saying. So, he's saying, still haven't found any way to prove that you are not career suicidal confessed perp misleading you for extra pay and criminally fraudulent doctor impersonator alias Robert Duncan. So he thinks it's this guy, Robert Duncan, my sexual stalker for over a decade. And I don't mean those fake videos where you appear with someone else's face and voice with technology. I exposed here quite some time ago people who claim to know you personally and can prove it, such as former classmates. The same lack of self-control that cost you your main account and all future revenues from counterintelligence speaking engagements, coupled with your constantly fallible memory, made you expose yourself all over again, repeating your self-incriminating error on Peace Pink, threatening to shoot me in the head with a shotgun. And then he says, Dumbcon is too chicken shit to let real targets or the public see this comment. But if by chance you get lucky, just ask, and I'll also show screenshots of two of his alts I had already identified, losing their shit when a decade later I finally mentioned the stalking that one of his colleagues, Sue, on perp site Peace Pink, even they hate him, informed the group about both knee-jerk reactions with the identical slur dickhead. FBI gang stalking disinfo boss Derek Robinson flushed the liabilities. See, listen to this. Liabilities, like, again, these people rant for pages, and I think it's a part of their delusion, but there'll be no funeral. Like, just here, read just some of this stuff. I'm not going to read it all. Here's another page of it. It just keeps going. Better keep a low profile, alias Robert, or they won't just be faking your death anymore. In this screenshot, as Sean, you lose your shit and threaten my life yet again, just like a gang stalker, after accusing me with zero evidence, showcasing the same impulse control issues that already cost you the ability to post online under your formerly promoted face. And so here's the incriminating screenshot he made. So this guy pretty much, is claiming that he's deep faking videos or something, and this Sean Cochran guy's like, next time you try to extort me for money, dude, you're gonna die. And then this dude is just, again, paragraphs of a response to this guy. Like, it's so insane. So I had to keep pursuing this because I was like, okay, this is too good to just let go at this moment. So I see this guy, Sean Cochran, replying to this, this dude. They have this like back and forth, and it's like him saying, Mycho Saniac, you should be shot, man. You never shut up, dude. I'm not scared of you or any of your little pussy-ass people you work with. If you must know, I deleted my other account with the same name, Sean Cochran, which is my real legal name. Go ahead and look it up. I'm not scared of you. I deleted my old account because I had a bunch of kids I went to school with that were bullying me and stalking me over this platform. I wonder why. And then he is creepy ass dude who has ruined the forums for everyone, and I think that is his goal all along. So there's obviously some bad blood between these two. Other comments under that initial post was saying, I can feel your pain. I can't do anything on my phone because it's always overheating, and I have like 5 broken cell phones since July 23. This other person, Parnilla, says, I'm pretty sure it's wireless fiber optics and radio fiber, trigger activated by drive passing gang stalkers. In the cities, it's done with the street lights. On the countryside, it's done with old telephone, with wires and a lot of antennas sending the fiber optics out in the air wireless. It seems to go into our electrical sockets in the house, which got one laugh emoticon. So somebody found it funny, not just me. And then again, this Mycho Saniac guy, he comments again. So still not even the presence of proof in you're not a dirty rubber dung can. Just the classic ad hominem attack, distraction, cowardly flinching for which you have been known for so long. Color me surprised. Like, oh, dude. And he's the all-star contributor too, which I thought was crazy. So yeah, under this Pernilla, about the sockets in the house, this guy's accusing her of being this Robert Duncan. He's saying, Pernilla Carlson, alias Robert Duncan, you're so obvious. Oh, it's not wireless psychotronic tech, which leaves no evidence. The FBI is stupid enough to shoot themselves in the foot by resorting to obsolete, less effective tech than that does leave evidence. Alrighty then. And then this person said, stop it. Everyone knows you're a perp now. So even this person is saying like that he's a perp. Like they're all accusing each other. And maybe this Mycho Saniac guy really is just going off the deep end. Or maybe he is a perp that's trying to, discredit all these people by posting these insane like rants. Like, so I clicked on that, still no proof, color me surprised. It's, this creepy ass. So he has all these rebuttals with all this stuff. Like, I'll let you guys read it if you really want. Like, pause and read this. But it's just like he can post paragraph after paragraph of crazy stuff. So, I'll let you read all that because that is a lot to take in. So just take a second if you need to and read this guy's rants if you really want to. So let's see here. Oh, okay. So underneath this person, Raul Palma says, the government weaponized the win. They make V2K, I2K. I don't even know what that is. Maybe I'll make a follow-up video on I2K. I don't know. And pretend to be the hand of God. Their main concern is playing a good old-timey game of who's who so you can chase them over and over again. Old white nationalists. So they've weaponized the win. This is, what movie is that with The Happening? So I clicked on view replies under this Mycho Saniac guy. And it was, sure enough, this Sean Cochran replies back, you actually sound like you work for the Air Force, which is responsible for all of this. So you could put that in your little fucking papers you write, you fucking moron. I hope you get food poisoning. So these guys are having this like back and forth. And then this guy responds, Sean Cochran, objective readers cannot fail to recognize the familiar alias Robert Duncan, self-delusional continuation of failing to distract from not even pretending to be able to prove he's not dumbcon, with the clever tactic of psychologically projecting his increasingly transparent and with characteristic imprudence, career suicidally confessed, perp misleading you for extra pay, vile status. That is just, these words that he puts together, are just, it's fascinating to me, really. he also avails himself of the opportunity to mislead you by indirectly chicken poopishly challenging the veracity of former FBI Chief Inspector Ted Gunderson fatally sworn gang stalking affidavits, proving this to be an alphabet agency program, counterintelligence specifically. It just keeps going on. I hope you don't get food poisoning, doctor, because I want you to live long enough for Derek to belatedly recognize for a second time that even though you have to hide your face for the rest of your life, these additional unprofessional, out of control, and inadvertent online I'm a perp alias Robert Duncan misleading you confessions, the same megalomaniacal and paradoxal undercover glory hound attention whoring that blew all your colleagues' covers the first time around, resulting in your flushed account, would very likely, given what we know, mostly from your blunders about the license to kill unwatched watchers, this time result in more than just your account being deleted. This guy, again, writes a paragraph, pages in response to this. Like, look at this. I'm not even going to read this whole thing, but just look at what he's saying. Like, pause for a second and read this if you really want to, but it just keeps going and going. So then after this pages, like that was what, like 5 pages? This guy, Sean Cochran, responds, "Look at the stupid Air Force bot, you retard." And so then I'm the retard when I gave you screenshots using the feeble bot deflection from, so he like picks apart everything he's like saying, like, and then again, it just keeps going. So then here's his response is, "I'm the retard when I have screenshots of you using the feeble bot deflection from the damning fake degree and confessed perp evidence, even under alias Dirty Rubber Duncan as far back as 2014, or did you already forget again?" So yeah, this guy, again, I had to just see the rantings of this dude, this macho saniac. Like, it's great. So I clicked on, of course, see more. And so it opened up again. He's just going on. You can read this if you want, but, just at the end, like just this end part, will spawn cockroach persist in regaling us with these identical subject-changing personal attacks, just as the Dr. X, Ian, and T.I. imposter Dumbcon always did, and still does, obviously? Or will he decide that excretion is the better part of valor and run away like the Monty Python Knights? Like, what? And so I clicked on, he's linking other things he's said. So I clicked on that. Again, if you want to read this guy, you can, but these are more paragraphs of him going on and on about this guy's alias and this Duncan. And I kept wondering, like, who the hell is this Duncan guy? And what is this guy talking about? And why is he writing these pages on it, right? So I kept scrolling down through all of the pages of his nonsense. Again, feel free to pause and read this at any time if you want. But then I saw at the bottom here, it says Robert Duncan confessional, I'm a perp. So I clicked on that, like, oh, great. And so, yeah, sure enough, it brought me to this little website, some blog post that was made back in 2014 about this Robert Duncan who confesses I'm a perp. And like, this is supposedly him coming out about all these things that he's been involved with the government. So in this blog post, he says, "Dear John and others whose full-time job are accusing, I have been trying to confess for a long time I'm a perp. I'm paid by the U.S. government to conduct psychological experiments on you. I am deceitful sometimes and I am wrong sometimes. I even accidentally tell you a truth now and then, but they dock my pay when that happens." And so, yeah, obviously this guy's telling the truth, because why would he make that up? So now that you have a full confession, can we move on and have constructive conversation, even knowing that I am trying to hurt you through intentional bad information and theories? Greed is what drives me. I wouldn't be surprised if that Sekiano or whatever, Saniac guy, was the one writing this, because what the hell is this? Feel free to, again, read this whole lengthy paragraph. But it is, even as references to these groups down here, it just blows my mind. So here he is calling out this Duncan guy again. I have followed Stop Egg's example of publishing dozens of consecutive abusive emails posted by career suicidal, stupidly confessed perp and criminally fraudulent doctor impersonator alias Robert Duncan by posting his numerous alts getting caught exhibiting this exact same unprofessional lack of self-control, which forced his perp gang boss Derek Robinson to belatedly delete his main account for blowing all their covers with his apparent OCD manic serial confession attention whoring. So now the counterintelligence shill thinks he's fooling anyone but himself by manically spamming his dumb lies from different alts I have already proven are him. So this guy's getting spammed from alt accounts from this Duncan guy. And what was it? What did he call it earlier? His sexual tormentor? Or what was it? Anyways, yeah, crazy stuff. Oh, never mind. I remember what it was. In this next one, I ask you, is this a clever response to being proven a sexual stalker? Micho Saniac sounds like you wanted up your rectum, boy. This is exactly the same lack of self-control. See, again, it's this, he repeats himself with these like long drawn out, I'm not even going to read all this, but he has screenshots of this guy apparently telling him all this stuff. Like, I just thought this infighting and this guy's unraveling mind, I guess I should say, it was kind of crazy to stumble across. Here he's talking about his friend Anthony Forwood was murdered. Just look at this jargon. Exposing Infogard infiltrated by, it comes off as, very mentally unhinged, right? Okay, so moving on from that crazy dude, we'll move on to the next guy. Here's this guy, Andre Nelson. What's up, fellow TIs? Wanted to share something real quick. About 20 minutes ago, I went over to the store to get me some fried chicken, and after I ordered my 2 pieces, the guy behind the counter asked me if I would like a biscuit to go along with it. So I said, sure, why not? Anyway, when I got back over here, begin eating and noticed a strange smell coming from the styrofoam. It was the biscuit. It smelled like pee. Now I truly don't believe someone would actually peed on it, but this is just another way of them showing me that they don't want me in their state. They want to have a reason to lock me up, just like they did to me in Dallas last week for some weed, because I want to go back to the store and let them know that shit ain't cool. And so his biscuits got peed on. So I had to, of course, find out what else this Andre Nelson guy was saying. So I clicked on his his profile or his what he's been saying lately, and here it is. He took a picture of this lady, just a lady on the bus, and he says it's a shame society is unwilling to help targeted individuals. Every single treatment facility or shelter will allow me to come in, but after a few days they start the shenanigans, giving me hints to leave. So I'm back on the road again, traveling to another city in Texas. And this lady sitting across from me is watching me like crazy. I'm tired of these people invading my space. I can't do anything about it. And they know that. That's why they do it. Probably gonna leave this city soon because I really don't want to be here either. It's just a lady on her phone. And this dude is like getting kicked out of facilities for being probably either a drug addict or a lunatic, and is now taking pictures of people on the bus saying that they're out to get him. So I don't know exactly which post by this Andre Nelson guy that this Micho Saniac guy's responding to, but he comes back in, of course, coming in hot. He says, Andre Nelson, aka career suicidal, stupidly confessed perp, and doctor impersonator alias Robert Duncan has disappeared from my inbox after spamming disparaging cracks about his adulterous activities with my decades ago dead mother.
I just love this guy so much. I don't know. It's just great. And then this next post from him, again, I'm not going to read all this, but if you look down, it says, you know, proven by Anthony Forwood and Reddit gang stalking mod microwave individual complicit in assassinating targeted individuals actually appeared on Dr. Phil. So now he's bringing Dr. Phil into this, and yeah, I just think it's so funny.
So I didn't get the screenshot, but this is in response to something that this Andre Nelson guy posted about, like, has anybody ever, taken these guys to court, or, how would you go about doing that? And so, he's feeling pretty much like, hopelessness kind of thing. So this person's like, prayers for you. I know the feeling all too well. Just seek God. This person, Tony Lagoon, says, it's the saddest feeling when 3 hospitals send you home with pulmonary emboli to die. We all had sad stories, but need to find a real doctor or natural ways to heal yourself because they will inject you with stuff. Here's this Darren Coulon guy. See, he's back. Wish I could help, but there's nothing anyone can do unless you got money. So he says, like, how would money stop them from gang stalking me? And then this Darren Coulon says, well, it wouldn't, but if you have money, anything is possible. What I mean is I could hire a PI, but it starts at 1,000 and up. It could get as high as 20 G's. 1,000 is just what it starts. It starts at, kind of like a down payment, but then you take the risk of getting ripped off by the PI. See, my GS knows everything about me. Oh, my gang stalkers know everything about me, including when I make the call to or go to the PI's office. See what I mean? And so, yes, they know your every move, which means they're one step ahead of you. So we're both fucked until they decide when it's enough torture. So, yeah, even like talking about getting PIs to investigate these people, to find the actual the source, or the people causing it, taking them to court and all that good stuff. So this guy says, this is wild. I used to say only me this would happen to, but now I have met a few people with the same issues, so the struggle is real. Like, life isn't hard enough without gang stalkers. That's what I was saying in my last video. Like, these people now found a community to talk about, they're not alone, that they have these other people talking about how they're being gang stalked as well. I just find that very interesting. So I saw a post about this guy who's asking, what do you guys think of these people that claim you can pay them to get you off of the blacklist created by perps? And he, had screenshots attached to it, so I had to see what this guy was talking about. And he included a conversation between them and these people that are supposedly going to get him off this blacklist. And there's more to this later. I actually end up talking to some of these people, but this one says, hi, are you a targeted individual victim? How long have you been experiencing this? Over a decade. And then the neighbors that live above me stalk and harass me. I experienced street theater as well. And so this person's pretty much saying, I can help you out. The list is secured in a private website, which can be connected through satellite server. Okay. And then they, go on and on about, it contains details of all TI victims who are being manipulated into things they don't want to do and are being affected by the TI symptoms. And clearing out your details from the list, I will help by connecting to the satellite server using an AOI software used to acquire login keys to get access to the server to disconnect the frequency modulator and signal distributor, which that way I can remove your name directly from the list. Okay. And then your name will be cleared from the list. Also, an investigation will be conducted to know the reason why you were placed on and a frequency jammer. Okay. And so this guy just keeps going on trying to convince them that they're going to, help them out by clearing them. It's going to, so in convincing, in connecting to the website to get you off the list, carry out an investigation, which the disconnection of frequency modulator is also included. I will need, I would need to acquire the login keys to grant me access to your profile and
This process is going to cost you some money. So everyone in the comments were like, no, that's a scam. Like, why? Yeah, don't listen to them. And so that led me to this next post by this person, Alex Hill, and they were asking, how did you learn about gang stalking? So I found this was just a gold mine of comments under here. 41 comments, right? So this David Austin guy says, the 10th time CIA tried to murder me, I finally figured it out. Robert Rivers says, I was accused of murder after volunteering to take a polygraph and passing it. I was still subjected to encounters from sheriff's, cops, honeypots, contractors, diversity and inclusion, LGBT community engagement groups, 8A business vendors. It's followed me since 1996 to now. This guy, Travis Lee, says, I thought they were froggers until they refused to leave after I let them know I knew they were here. Then the way the sheriff's department treated me after I called for help removing them from my property. And then this next post, and so I think this is like the conclusion of this kind of like the pinnacle of this video, and what I found out is this next post. This guy says, LOL from a smoker, specifically a meth head. So I think that's the answer. Like that one guy that like would rant on about, I think meth was probably involved. So this guy says, me too. And then he says, more than likely that's where everybody heard it from, because I was smoked out too when they told me about it, but it was making sense. LOL. Now that I'm sober, no need to even think about that stuff no more, really. And then this person said, God told me if I wanted an answer to what was happening to me that I knew how to find it. 30 minutes on Google later, I had my answer and dropped to my knees crying. So after she Googled about gang stalking, she dropped to her knees. This person said, flying monkeys can be flapped away. Remember that? This person says, what? And then this guy's, it's all hidden messages. Really, it's just about a bunch of really evil people. Flying monkeys are the people who do the narcissist's dirty work. They are easily manipulated and lied to and go out and cause trouble, spread gossip, etc. It comes from the film Wizard of Oz. So I had to clarify what a flying monkey is, but I thought that was interesting. That's the term they use for these people that go out and do these narcissist bidding. I came across this Dan Delgado guy. I mean, he just looks like an awesome dude. Let's see what he's saying. Godless science has a lot to lose. They must commence with the ridiculous 6.5 mile diameter new FCC so they can finish off Earth acting like they can find another planet to gut dead. Okay, well, there's one comment under there. So I clicked on the one comment, and it's this Macho Saniac guy again. And he says, it was just this week I chided alias Robert Duncan, confessed perp and criminally fraudulent doctor impersonator, for blowing all his 100 new alts by consistently misspelling lose with the same level of incompetence with which his Harvard PhD bears the red diploma seal Harvard awards women grads. So this guy, and he says like these repeated kind of phrases. And so it's like, note that Dan promotes exactly all the same, deliberately discrediting, faux, schizophrenic, and well-exposed. Like, listen to all these buzzwords, and it's just all, is there a period in there? Do you see any periods? I see a comma. It's just ranting. And so, anyways, I thought it was hilarious that this guy popped back up. And so I go to the next one. Oh, and of course, there's like a one, mad face about it. I go to the next one, and this guy's the same Dan Delgado guy saying, haha, nobody wanted nuclear bombs, gene splicing, illegal godless science has failed 2 times attempting to create life, all while decimating Earth to the core, and all while living and thriving like ruthless kings. Now the godless losers, to ensure their castles thrive and other hidden devil schemes, are attempting a third 6.5 mile circumference collider to create life. Get over it. The pleasures of the flesh, evil fun is over. And so
I was like, okay, this guy's has some interesting views. Let's see what else he's saying. The evil, rich, ruthless rulers of Earth must be shut down. Every existence on humans has always come to, human life on Earth is supply a test of faith. All the money and riches will never bring complete satisfaction. This guy says a human will die from loneliness, but will never die from lack of sex. Billions of money spent on the need for sex, yet not one human on Earth has ever died from lack of sex. Like, what is this guy's obsession with sex? And like, they're all posted with no likes or comments, which makes me think he's either that much more insane or he's a bot or something. I don't know. What's great about subscribing to this, gang stalker awareness page is that I, will occasionally come across posts like this. And so it says, the gang stalkers at Walmart watching you buy chicken and ice cream. And there's this guy with this dildo in his mouth. So I was like, okay, 2 comments under this. I got to see who's commenting on this. And guess what the 2 comments were? It was from this lady, Anne Marie, thanks for the laugh. I needed that. And then this Macho Saniac guy comes back. And one of the many tactics deployed by 75% of the online targets proven in the curious case of Anthony Forwood to be covert agents, in this particular case to discredit real targets as dull-witted paranoid schizophrenics with too much time on our hands, is to shitpost obvious cases of meaningless activity as proof of gang stalking. So this guy even has a problem with these goofy meme posts in this page. For the untargeted public, our only possible allies, the takeaway is that we do not know what constitutes real proof, which very effectively convinces the public to dismiss our real evidence without examination. This is also a gang stalking recruitment psyops, getting targets to stalk probably innocent people around them, and also to be entrapped into legal difficulties with the classic gang stalker's vile attack of publicly making false accusations with credible proof against real persons. Like, again, no periods, just this dude is all about this, right? So he popped up. I can't believe he just keeps popping up under these people's, even goofy ones with a guy with a dildo in his mouth. So anyways, I just love being a part of this group, because so as I've made this video and as I'm trying to like wrap it up, like I keep getting delayed. So you'll notice the audio is probably all over the place because I'm making these kind of audio clips and talking about it like on my lunch breaks or randomly throughout the day. I haven't actually like set time aside to be like, okay, I'm going to record all this audio for these goofy gang stalking posts that I've discovered, right? So part of, as the days go by, like crazy, it'll pop up on my Facebook feed. I'll be like, oh man, I gotta add this. So I'm sorry if this goes on for a little bit, but I also have to show like some of the and there is a point, there is a conclusion to this whole thing.
Hey guys, what's up? So I figured now's a good time to kind of stop the video and I'll release a part 2 here in a little bit. But as I was editing the audio and video to this, I realized it's like over 45 minutes so far, and there's still a little bit more to go. So, yeah, I'll release more, like, I don't know, here in a couple weeks, but each day that would go by, something else would catch my eye on the group or in the news. Like recently we had that guy that stabbed that lady on the bus, and it was because he was hearing voices and thought that lady was like, putting voices in his head, and he was a targeted individual. So when that came out, I was like, oh my gosh, I got to include this in the video because this ties in. Like, I'm currently working on editing this video, and this crazy dude stabs a lady on a bus. But then also, like I said, I do message one of those targeted individual help people, and I kind of troll them, and I get some information from them about what they try to do for people. And so there is a conclusion, there is a follow-up. But yeah, like literally just today, I got more, like somebody thought anybody else experiencing getting like superpowers from getting V2K. So there's people that think they're getting like powers I gotta include this in because I'm just like, oh my gosh, like each day that would pass, I'd be like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching so far. And yeah, keep on keeping on.